Hello. Hello again. I am trying the experiment again. I have to say thank you to the people who watched the No Mask, No Problem video and encouraged me in the comments. Um, it brings up this topic of what we're capable of when we're encouraged. When there's other people going, do it, do it, do it. You can do this. Oh my God, that's so great. I love it so much. It's so funny because it happened just yesterday where I went to lunch at my grandma's and my mom was there and two of my brothers. So there's five of us and we're playing Call for Your Partner, pitch. Um, I'm from the Midwest. Pitch is what we do. Like, people ask me like, wow, what do you do for fun around there? We play cards. We play cards, and that's what we do. Um, and there's always a story from the pitch game. It's just like a table where multiple people, multiple personalities come together, and my grandma, she like is looking at her cards and like the bid's already real high. It's like 8. The highest bid you can do is 10 or shoot the moon or whatever. And so it's already 8, so she'd have to say 9, and that's like a really good bid. Like you're gonna have to make almost all the points of the hand. And can you do that? Is your hand strong enough? And everyone else around the table has no clue what's in her hand, right? Like nobody knows what her cards are. Nobody knows what she's looking at, but she's thinking about it. She's considering. She's doing a decide, how I would say for my animals. Like she's twitching her tail about should she say 9? Should she not say 9? That's all the rest of us have to go on. And everybody at the table was like, come on, do it. Go 9. Dude, go 9. You got the points to lose. Like, just do it. Like, come on. Like, you can do this. And like, we don't know. We don't know anything. And she was like, yeah, 9. And she does her 9 bid and she makes all of them. She makes all 10 of them. And she said then on the next hand, because like it was kind of a similar situation. Maybe it wasn't the next hand, maybe like the one after that, but very, very, very soon after. She's doing it again, but nobody's like really tuned into her. Like I was more looking at my own cards, like what am I gonna bid? And so I wasn't really paying attention to her. And then she eventually says, pass. And we kind of just go on. And she's like, nobody was encouraging me that time. And she makes this joke. And we all kind of laugh and remember, like, yeah, we did. We really pushed her into it. But it worked out so well in her favor. And she felt the surge of confidence to do something she was already contemplating. She was already feeling it for herself. She's like, yeah, I think I could do that. I think so. But she was still staying right here. And then the encouragement comes, and now she's walking the path where she makes her bid, and she's all good, and like whatever. And it really, really, really connects the dots with what that first video was of like, well, first video, I mean, there's like over 500 videos on the channel, and how beautiful, how interesting that here I am, 500 videos in, and I am beginning to figure out how to be just like my real self on camera and to not be performing or like putting on a show or like, which is to say, putting on a mask, playing a character. Like to just be me on camera. Yeah, this is like my second video out of 500 plus. And you guys' encouragement on that last video is why this video even exists. So it makes me want to ask you, like, what is your relationship with encouragement? And how often are you encouraging the people around you? how often are you voting for their intuitive knowing? Like what you can see, they're already leaning like, maybe I can do that. Like, I think I could do that. I'm pretty sure I could do that. Like, push them a little. How often do you encourage? Oh my God, like, I gotta tell you, like, for me personally, my love language is words of affirmation. There was a poll very recently on the channel at the time of recording this, on the community tab, where I asked, like, what are your love languages? And there was such a diverse mix of love languages represented by the people who watch this channel. But I really want to explain this concept of encouragement from somebody who, my primary love language, like I've had to work to develop a second one because the one I have is it's so hard to get. It's words of affirmation. It's words of affirmation. I want encouragement. I want you to tell me that you love me. Like, I need that. I thrive off of it. Like, once I learned astrology, I would give it to my Leo moon to be like, of course, like my gas tank is fed off of the applause that comes from I stepped on stage, I did my dance, and you guys were like, yeah, that was good. Good job. And like, I'm like, great, I did the thing. And like, I've worked a lot on the whole, like, don't care what people think. And I don't know, like for me, I haven't found a way to get there yet. Like, I thrive off of encouragement. And the piece that I'll give you, if you're resonating at all with like really, thriving off of encouragement, is also how often do you encourage yourself? How often do you tell yourself you did a really good job? And like just hold your attention on yourself to come up with genuine encouragements, the same as you would for somebody else that you see like on the tipping point, on the verge. Maggie, are you gonna come up? Come here, good kitty. Come on. Come here. You can do. You can do. She needed an encouragement. Doug, what doing? Come to see? Yeah. Yeah. Come to do a leg. See, come to do a rub. she's, she's encouraging me. She's like, Mama, if I had words, I would give them to you. But I don't. Oh gosh, they're so funny. Um, encouragement. Like, oh my God. Like, okay, so here's our homework, and I'm gonna take this. I mean, this is kind of who I am. This is what the pain of having words of affirmation be my only love language and growing up in a household where like we don't tell each other how we feel about things. Yeah, like talk about having to learn how to encourage yourself. So this is our homework for today, is to find something in ourselves to encourage and find something in another person or kitty to encourage. Practicing being the encourager, it doesn't really matter who or what you're encouraging. The skill of being an encourager is more about presence than anything else. It's noticing. It's like I said about the two hands with my grandma, where like the first one, we were all looking at her. We're waiting to see what she's going to do, and we're paying attention to she's twitching her tail. She's doing a decide. And we're there to like see her confidence and see how close her confidence is to tipping into action. We saw it on her face. It was all over her, like, she really wanted to do it, but she was really like, I don't know if I can do it. And like, we saw that, and there was the opportunity. But like the next time I was looking at my own cards, I was trying to figure out, can I do this? I'm trying to look inside myself and make my own decision. I'm paying attention to myself, and I couldn't encourage her because I wasn't even paying attention to her. So being present with other people and seeing what they're contemplating and witnessing where their confidence level is and how close that confidence level is to tipping into action. And again, I go back to you guys leaving those comments on the last videos or the last video, and the the little boost, that somebody else's opinion can be. Like, it's, 1 ounce of, say, again, like, nobody knows the cards you're looking at, but them giving a vote of confidence, them adding 1% more, like even 1% of 1% more can be the tipping point to like, what if I did more of that? What if I really went for it? What if I like, oh my God, like that was so scary. And I'll even say, like, after I did that first video, like the 503rd video, that first video, after I did it, it took like 2.5 hours to upload it to YouTube. And multiple times I'm sitting there thinking, like, just delete it. Just pretend it never happened. Do it now. And I had to really, really, really encourage myself to leave it. I had to trace back through how it came to be in the first place. It was inspired, it was divinely intended, it moved me into action. There was no thought or consideration, it was pure inspiration. And so I had to go back to it came from pure inspiration. Anything else that came after that is my conditioning, and I can ride this wave. I can leave it, I can let it upload, I can let it get out there. And then the comments brought me to tears and brought me to this second one and opened up this path where who knows what kinds of conversations we'll be able to have, because so much of my inspiration comes from my morning time process. And during my which is where I'm at right now, during my morning time process, I'm wearing the weird clothes, whatever I slept in last night. My hair is slept on, like haven't showered yet today. I got breakfast here. I'm just like in it, right? And like bringing that, I mean, so many times I've been inspired to say something, to share a message. And what I've been doing for the last however long, year or so, is I'll open up a voice recorder and I'll do voice only. And I've gotten really, really comfortable at like clicking record and just talking for like 30 minutes, sometimes like an hour. Those can get long fast. And so I've gotten really comfortable like in the voice part. And now this like being on camera is such a secondary, like, am I comfortable in my skin? Like being comfortable in our voice is one thing as far as allowing ourselves to be heard, but being comfortable in our skin is a whole nother thing that goes along with allowing ourselves to be seen. And that's where I said in the last video, like, I feel so seen. And right now, same thing. Like, I feel like I am expressing my authenticity. I am owning my authentic self. This is me. This is me. This is the real me, like coming to you right here, right now. And I'll only get better at it now that I'm into practicing it. Like it took me 500 videos to practice being in myself. Like, you would think after almost 35 years, like, I know how to be in myself, and I'm really only just starting to figure it out. And that actually brings me to a recommendation, because that's what just like filled me up, and I had to come and share. I was watching the Deja podcast this morning. The most recent episode at the time of recording this, I'll put a link in the description. the title slide says, "Trust the fuck out of yourself." And over, I keep drawing this card out of Oracle cards that just says trust. Like the last few days, like it just keeps saying trust, trust, trust. And I'm like, oh, okay, trust what? Like trust. Okay, okay. So I've been back in my reflections on trust, and then here's the Deja Blue episode that says trust the fuck out of yourself. And I'm like, wow, okay. So I'm watching this, and she says that the lady who's being interviewed, like the guest on the podcast, she says that she personally finds the smell of her own sweat and other people's sweat to be intoxicating. It's like delicious to her to smell our natural scent. She finds it really attractive, and that like she's in the kind of the larger context of what she's talking about is how like consumerism culture makes a lot of money, billions, trillions of dollars every single year by telling us how wrong we are. For example, deodorant companies. For example, deodorant commercials that are telling you, like, stay fresh longer. Who said we need to be fresh? Why has that ship sailed? And this may seem like a really weird pivot, but this was the topic that they, on that podcast episode, encouraged me to come here and talk to you about, because I have been in a growth edge for like a year, a little over a year, since I stopped wearing deodorant. I stopped wearing deodorant a little over a year ago, and it has been one of the richest spiritual healing journeys of my life, because confronting the shame around my stink, my my smell, like if you don't wear deodorant, I mean, it doesn't take very long, like a couple hours, few hours before your natural smell, I mean, I can smell myself. And it's like, I mean, if you're wearing deodorant, like that's not a thing. And so with that smell is a lifetime of judgment and conditioning that says you shouldn't smell like that. And it's like, smell like what? Like how I naturally smell? Yeah, you shouldn't smell like that. You shouldn't be how you naturally are. So yeah, I fundamentally don't agree with deodorant. Deodorant is one of the many masks that we wear to cover up our real self. And watching that podcast episode, I'm pointing to my phone like you could see it, like watching that podcast episode with her talking about how the smell of sweat is beautiful to her. Like that was the encouragement I needed to talk about this journey that I've been on for over a year of smelling my sweat. They real find that funny. I find it so funny. Like, how did we get here? Like, what is life? Why are we talking about this? Oh my God. So I drew 3 cards, like without even thinking about it. So let's see what those are. The first one is vision. These are the higher self oracle. The deck looks like this. Higher self oracle. So the first one was vision. The second one is pause. And the third one is confusion. This one is definitely, that's where you're going to sit? Show the booty? She said, I don't care about my booty. See, look, I'm ashamed of the cat's booty hole. It's her body. Why am I covering it up? Conditioning. Conditioning. Confusion. It's confusion. Oh my God, that's so good. So like this card, I drew it over and over and over and over. And I also am like in a thing where I'm trying to practice my intuition. So I try not to read the book because I want to see like what does it bring up inside of me? Like what lives within me that this card is provoking? That's more my focus versus like what the book says. And so I drew that card for a long time and then finally was like, fuck, like what? Okay, fine. What does the book say? I got to read it to you because it's just too good. Let's just even have a look-see. Oh, 43. Confusion. Confusion is a word we have invented for an order which is not understood. And that reminds me of another quote from the podcast episode, which was, the most sacred thing is what is. The most sacred thing that can ever be in any reality, in any timeline, is what is. Doesn't that just make you like want to relax your shoulders? Doesn't that just like soothe yourself? Like, confusion, it's just a lack of understanding. And that begs the question, do we need to understand? You know, sometimes maybe we have reasons why we need to understand things. And sometimes, and this is what I'm going to encourage you, since we're going to encourage people, I'm going to encourage you to like let it go, to like pause and envision whatever it is that would be good in the situation. Like, what kind of an outcome do you actually want? And then to let the unfolding between where you are now and how it comes about to be whatever it is. What it is sacred. The steps along the way have their meaning every single time. You being here watching this encouragement, it's planting something inside of you, and I would love to hear what it is. Until next time, I hope that you take such good care of yourself. And so will I.